Shakespeare's Histories, The Queen's Storm, Episode 6. Under the rule of Henry VI, England is at an ignition point. Armed revolts from the Commons have peppered the country. The largest revolt, led by Jack Cade at the instigation of the Duke of York, threatens to destabilize the entire government. Claiming to be from the Mortimer family and thus heir to the crown, Cade gains the support of the discontented Commons. For their safety, King Henry and Queen Margaret withdraw from London to Kenilworth Castle. In the absence of the royal government, Jack Cade and the Kentish rebels are able to storm the capital.
Now is Mortimer lord of this city. And here, sitting upon London stone, I charge and command that, of the city's cost, the pissing conduit run nothing but claret wine this first year of our reign. And now, henceforward it shall be treason for any that calls me other than Lord Mortimer. Jack Cade, knock him down there! Huh?
If this fellow be wise, he'll never call you Jack Cade more. I think he hath a very fair warning.
Go and set London Bridge on fire, and if you can, burn down the tower too. Then go some and pull down the Savoy, others to the Inns of Court. Down with them all!
I have a suit unto your lordship.
Be it a lordship, thou shalt have it for that word.
Only that the laws of England may come out of your mouth.
Mass, 'twill be sore law then, for he was thrust in the mouth with a spear, and 'tis not whole yet.
Nay, John, it will be stinking law, for his breath stinks with eating toasted cheese.
I have thought upon it. It shall be so. Away! Burn all the records of the realm. My mouth shall be the Parliament of England.
My lord, a prize, a prize! Here's ladies say, which sold the towns in France, she that made us pay 1 15s and 1 shilling to the pound the last subsidy.
Well, she shall be beheaded for it 10 times.
Yeah.
What canst thou answer to my majesty for giving up of Normandy unto Monsieur Bazimoncoeur, the Dauphin of France? Be it known unto thee by these presents, even the presence of Lord Mortimer, that I am the besom that must sweep the court clean of such filth as thou art. Thou hast most traitorously corrupted the youth of the realm in erecting a grammar school. It will be proved, to thy face, that thou hast those about thee that usually talk of a noun and a verb, and such abominable words as no Christian ear can endure to hear. Thou hast appointed justices of peace to call poor folk before them about matters they were not able to answer. Moreover, thou hast put them in prison, and because they could not read, thou hast hanged them, when indeed, only for that cause they have been most worthy to live.
You people of Kent!
What say you of Kent?
Nothing but this. 'Tis bona terra, mala gens.
Away with her, away with her! She speaks Latin!
Hear me, but speak, and bear me where you will. Kent, in the commentary Caesar writ, is termed the civilest place of all this isle. Sweet is the country because full of riches. The people liberal, valiant, active, wealthy, which makes me hope you are not void of pity.
Tell that to Maine.
I sold not Maine. I lost not Normandy, yet to recover them would lose my life. Justice with favor have I always done. Large gifts have I bestowed on learned clerks because my book preferred me to the king. And seeing ignorance is the curse of God, knowledge the wing wherewith we fly to heaven. Unless you be possessed with devilish spirits, you cannot but forbear to murder me. This tongue hath parleyed unto foreign kings for your behoof.
Take her away and behead her, and then break into her son-in-law's house, Sir James Cromer, and strike off his head, and bring them both upon 2 poles hither.
It shall be done!
Up with their hands!
My lord, when shall we go to Cheapside and take up commodities upon our bills?
Marry, presently.
Oh, brave!
We have their hands! We have their hands!
But is this not braver? Let them kiss one another, for they loved well when they were alive. Now part them again, lest they consult about the giving up of some more towns in France. Away! Up this street! Down St. Magnus Corner! Kill them, knock down! Throw them into the Thames!
In their violent attack, Cade's mob slaughters several of London's government officials. Cade's success encourages similar uprisings in other parts of the country. King Henry and Queen Margaret send the Duchess Buckingham and Thomas the Baron of Clifford to bring an end to the hostilities.
What noise is this I hear? Dare any be so bold to sound retreat or parley when I command them kill?
I hear they be that dare and will disturb thee. No, Cade, we come ambassadors from the king unto the commons, whom thou hast misled, and here pronounce free pardon to them all that will forsake thee and go home in peace.
What say you, countrymen? Will you relent and yield to mercy whilst 'tis offered you, or let a rabble lead you to your deaths? Who loves the king and will embrace his pardon, fling up his cap and say, God save his majesty!
God save his majesty!
Who hateth him and honors not his father, Henry V,
Crispin's Day!
Sweet wag!
that made all France to quake, shake he his weapon at us and pass by.
God save the king! God save the king!
Why?
God save
Buckingham
the king!
and Clifford! Are you so brave? And you, base peasants, do you believe him? I thought you would never have given out these arms till you had recovered your ancient freedom. But you are all recreants and dastards and delight to live in servitude to the nobility. Let them break your backs with burdens. Take your houses over your heads. Ravish your wives and daughters before your faces. For me, I will make shift for one, and so God's curse light upon you all.
We'll follow Cade! We'll follow Cade! We'll follow Cade!
Is Cade the son of Henry V?
Crispin's Day!
That thus you do exclaim you'll go with him? Will he conduct you through the heart of France, and make the meanest of you earls and dukes? Alas, he hath no home, no place to fly to, nor knows he how to live but by the spoil, unless by robbing of your friends and us. Were't not ashamed that whilst you live at Jar, the fearful French, whom you late vanquished, should make a start o'erseas and vanquish you? To France! To France, and get what you have lost! Spare England, for it is your native coast! Henry hath money! You are strong and manly! God on our side! Doubt not of victory!
Clifford! Clifford! We'll follow the king and Clifford!
Was ever feather so lightly blown to and fro as this multitude? The name of Henry V hails them to 100 mischiefs and makes them leave me desolate. I see them lay their heads together to surprise me. My sword, make way for me, for here is no staying. In despite of the devils and hell have through the very midst of you. And heavens and honor be witness that no want of resolution in me, but only my followers' base and ignominious treasons, makes me betake to my heels.
What? Is he fled? Go some and follow him, and he that brings his head unto the king shall have 1,000 crowns for his reward. Follow me, soldiers. We'll devise a means to reconcile you all unto the king.
My mind to me a kingdom is, such joys therein I find, it far excels all earthly bliss. That world affords or grows by kind.
Was ever king that joyed an earthly throne and could command no more content than I? No sooner was I crept out of my cradle, but I was made a king at 9 months old. Was never subject long to be a king, as I do long and wish to be a subject.
Health and glad tidings to your majesty.
Why, Buckingham, is the traitor Cade surprised, or is he but retired to make him strong?
He is fled, my lord, and all his powers do yield, and humbly thus, with cuffs around their wrists, expect your highness's doom of life or death.
Then heaven set ope thy everlasting gates to entertain my vows of thanks and praise. Soldiers, this day have you redeemed your lives, and showed how well you love your prince and country. Continue still in this so good a mind, and Henry, though he be unfortunate, assure yourselves will never be unkind. And so with thanks and pardon to you all, I do dismiss you to your several countries.
God save the king! God save the king!
Please it your grace to be advertised, the Duke of York is newly come from Ireland, and with a puissant and a mighty power is marching hitherward in proud array, and still proclaimeth, as he comes along, his arms are only to remove from thee the Duchess Somerset, whom he terms a traitor.
Thus stands my state, twixt Cade and York distressed. Like to a ship that having scaped a tempest is straightway calmed and boarded with a pirate. I pray thee, Buckingham, go and meet him, and ask him what's the reason of these arms. Tell him I'll send the Duchess to the Tower, and Somerset, we will commit thee thither until his army be dismissed from him.
My lord, I'll yield myself to prison willingly, or unto death to do my country good.
In any case, be not too rough in terms, for he is fierce and cannot brook hard language.
I will, my lord. And doubt not so to deal as all things shall result unto your good.
Come, wife, let's in, and learn to govern better. For yet may England curse my wretched reign.
Having resolved the Cade uprising, King Henry and Queen Margaret turned towards future challenges, not only the return of the Duke of York with an army, but also parenthood. Margaret is newly pregnant, the two having finally conceived after 8 years of marriage. Jack Cade is denounced as a traitor, and a bounty of 1,000 marks is put on his head.
Fie on ambitions! Fie on myself that have a sword and yet am ready to famish! These 5 days have I hid me in these woods and durst not peep out, for all the country is laid for me. But now am I so hungry that if I might have a lease of my life for 1,000 years, I could stay no longer. Wherefore? Over a brick wall have I climbed into this garden to see if I can eat grass or pick a salad another while, which is not amiss to cool a man's stomach this hot weather.
Lord, who would live turmoiled in the court and may enjoy such quiet walks as these? This small inheritance my father left me contenteth me, and worth a monarchy.
Here's the lady of the soil come to seize me for a stray, for entering her fee simple without leave. Ah, villain!
Huh?
Thou wilt betray me and get 1,000 crowns of the king by carrying my head to him, but I'll swallow my sword like a great pin ere thou and I part.
Why, rude companion whatsoever thou be, I know thee not. It's not enough to break into my garden and, like a thief, to come to rob my grounds, climbing my walls in spite of me, the owner, but thou wilt brave me with these saucy terms?
Aye, by the best blood that ever was broached, look on me well. I have et no meat these 5 days, yet come thou and thy 5 men, and if I do not leave you all as dead as a doornail, I pray God I may never eat grass more.
Nay, it shall never be said while England stands that Alexandra Eden, an esquire of Kent, took odds to combat a poor famished man.
By my valor, the most complete champion that ever I heard. Still, if thou turn the edge, I beseech God on my knees thou mayst be turned to hobnails. I am slain. famine, and no other hath slain me. Let 10,000 devils come against me, and give me but the 10 meals I have lost, and I defy them all. Wither, garden, and be henceforth a burying place to all that do dwell in this house, because the unconquered soul of Cade is fled.
Is Cade that I have slain, that monstrous traitor?
Eden, farewell, and be proud of thy victory. Tell Kent from me she hath lost her best man, and exhort all the world to be cowards. For I, that never feared any, am vanquished by famine, not by valor.
Die, damned wretch, the curse of her that bare thee! Hence will I drag thee headlong by the heels onto a dunghill, which shall be thy grave, and there cut off thy most ungracious head, which I will bear in triumph to the king, leaving thy trunk for crows to feed upon.
King Henry and Queen Margaret finally have a child. They name the new prince Edward. Though the Lancastrian line now has an heir, Henry falls in and out of sickness, often leaving Margaret to manage affairs. Henry's health causes concern throughout the peerage about who is running the country. Stepping into this situation, Richard Plantagenet, the Duke of York, returns to England with an armed force.
From Ireland thus comes York to claim his right and pluck the crown from feeble Henry's head. Ring bells aloud! Burn bonfires clear and bright to entertain great England's lawful king! Let them obey that knows not how to rule. This hand was made to handle naught but gold! Whom have we here? Buckingham to disturb me. The king hath sent her sure I must assemble.
York, if thou meanest well, I greet thee well.
Duchess of Buckingham, I accept thy greeting. Art thou a messenger or come of pleasure?
A messenger from Henry, our dread liege, to know the reason of these arms in peace, or why thou, being a subject as I am, against thy oath and true allegiance sworn, should raise so great a power without his leave, or dare to bring thy force so near the court.
The cause why I have brought this army hither is to remove proud Somerset from the king, seditious to his grace and to the state.
That is too much presumption on thy part. But if thy arms be to no other end, the king hath yielded unto thy demand. The Duchess Somerset is in the tower.
Upon thine honor, is she prisoner?
Upon mine honor, she is prisoner.
Then, Buckingham, I do dismiss my powers. Soldiers, I thank you all. Disperse yourselves. Meet me tomorrow in St. George's Field. You shall have pay and everything you wish. And let my sovereign, virtuous Henry, command my eldest son, nay, all my sons, as pledges of my fealty and love. Lands, goods, horse, armor, anything I have is his to use, so Somerset may die.
York, I commend this kind submission. We twain will go into his highness' tent.
In all submission and humility, York doth present himself unto your highness.
And what intends these forces thou dost bring?
To heave the traitor Somerset from hence, and fight against that monstrous rebel Cade, who since I heard to be discomfited.
If one so rude and of so mean condition may pass into the presence of a king. Lo, I present your grace a traitor's head, the head of Cade, whom I in combat slew.
The head of Cade? Great God, how just art thou! Oh, let me view his visage, being dead, that living wrought me such exceeding trouble. Tell me, my friend, art thou the one that slew him?
I was, an't like your majesty.
How art thou called, and what is thy degree?
Alexandra Eden, that's my name. A poor esquire of Kent that loves her king.
So please it you, my lord, 'twere not amiss she were created knight for her good service.
Ah, Eden, kneel down. Rise up a knight. We give thee for reward 1,000 marks, and will that thou henceforth attend on us.
May Eden live to merit such a bounty, and never live but true unto her liege.
See, Buckingham, Somerset comes with the queen. Go bid her hide her quickly from the duke.
1,000 Yorks, she shall not hide her head, but boldly stand and front him to his face.
How now? Is Somerset at liberty? False king, why hast thou broken faith with me, knowing how hardly I can brook abuse? King, did I call thee? No, thou art not king, not fit to govern and rule multitudes which darest not, no, nor canst not, rule a traitor. That head of thine doth not become a crown. Give place. By heaven, thou shalt rule no more, or him whom heaven created for thy ruler.
O monstrous traitor! I arrest thee, York, of capital treason against the king and crown. Obey, audacious traitor. Kneel for grace.
Wouldst have me kneel? First let me ask of these, if they can brook I bow a knee to man. Sirrah, call in my sons to be my bail. I know, ere they will have me go to jail, they'll pawn their swords for my enfranchisement.
Call hither Clifford. Bid him come amain to say that if the bastard boys of York shall be the surety for their traitor father.
Oh, blood-bespotted Neapolitan, outcast of Naples, England's bloody scourge. The sons of York, thy betters in their birth, shall be their father's bail, and bane to those that for my surety will refuse the boys. See where they come. I'll warrant they'll make it good.
And here comes Clifford to deny their bail.
Health and all happiness to my lord the king.
I thank thee, Clifford. Say, what news with thee? Nay, do not fright us with an angry look. We are thy sovereign, Clifford. Kneel again. For thy mistaking so, we pardon thee.
This is my king, York. Is the man grown mad?
Aye, Clifford. A bedlam and ambitious humor makes him oppose himself against his king.
Oh, well, he is a traitor. Let him to the tower and chop away that factious pate of his.
He is arrested, but will not obey. His sons, he says, shall give their words for him.
Will you not, sons?
Aye, noble father, if our words will serve.
And if words will not, then our weapons shall.
Why, what a brood of traitors have we here!
Look in a glass and call thy image so. I am thy king, and thou a false heart traitor. Bid Warwick come to me.
Why, Warwick, hath thy knee forgot to bow? Oh, where is faith? Oh, where is loyalty? Call Buckingham and bid her arm herself.
Call Buckingham and all the friends thou hast. I am resolved for death or dignity.
Go the first, I warrant thee, if dreams prove true.
You were best to go to bed and dream again, to keep thee from the tempest of the field.
I am resolved to bear a greater storm than any thou canst conjure up today.
And so to arms, victorious father, to quell the rebels and their accomplices.
By charity, for shame. Speak not in spite, for you shall sup with Jesu Christ tonight.
Foul stigmatic, that's more than thou canst tell.
If not in heaven, you'll surely sup in hell.
Somerset and York's rivalry has split the English court in two. In support of the Lancastrian royal house of King Henry VI, Queen Margaret, and their new son Prince Edward are the Duchess Buckingham, the Duchess Somerset, and Thomas Clifford with his daughter. Supporting a Yorkist rule under Richard Plantagenet are his sons Edward, George, and Richard, and the Countess Warwick. Near the village of St. Albans, Warwick orders an attack, catching the Lancastrians off guard.
Clifford of Cumberland! 'Tis Warwick calls! Now, when the angry trumpet sounds alarum, and dead men's cries do fill the empty air, Clifford! I say, come forth and fight with me! Proud northern lord, Clifford of Cumberland! Warwick is hoarse with calling thee to arms! How now, my noble lord? What, all afoot?
The deadly-handed Clifford slew my steed, but match to match I have encountered him, and made a prey for carrion kites and crows, e'en of the bonny beast he loved so well.
York! Clifford! Of one or both of us the time is come.
Hold, Warwick! Seek thee out some other chase, for I myself must hunt this deer to death.
Then nobly, York! 'Tis for a crown thou fight'st. As I intend, Clifford, to thrive today, it grieves my soul to leave thee unassailed. Ah!
What seest thou in me, York? Why dost thou pause?
With thy brave bearing should I be in love, but that thou art so fast, mine enemy.
Nor should thy prowess want praise and esteem, but that 'tis shown ignobly and in treason.
So let it help me now against thy sword, as I in justice and true right express it. Thus, war hath given thee peace, for thou art still. Peace with his soul, heaven, if it be thy will.
Shame and confusion! All is on the rout. Fear frames disorder, and disorder wounds where it should guard. O war, thou son of hell, whom angry heavens do make their minister, throw in the frozen bosoms of our part hot calls of vengeance. Oh, let the vile world end, and the premised flames of the last day knit earth and heaven together. Now let the general trumpet blow his blast, particularities and petty sounds to cease. Wast thou ordained, dear father, to lose thy youth in peace, and to achieve the silver livery of advised age, and in thy reverence and thy chair days thus to die in ruffian battle? Even at this sight, my heart is turned to stone. And while 'tis mine, it shall be stony York, not our old men spares. No more will I their babes. Tears virginal shall be to me, even as the dew to fire, and beauty that the tyrant oft reclaims shall to my flaming wrath be oil and flax. Henceforth I will not have to do with pity. Meet I an infant of the house of York, into as many gobbets will I cut it as wild Medea young Absyrtus did. In cruelty will I seek out my fame.
York and Warwick break through Clifford's barricade and pour into the town. Somerset and Buckingham lead the Lancastrian defense as the scuffle spreads throughout the narrow streets. Somerset is pushed back towards a tavern where she encounters the teenage son of York, also named Richard.
So lie thou there. For underneath an alehouse paltry sign, the castle in St. Albans, Somerset hath made the wizard famous in her death. Sword, hold thy temper. Heart, be wrathful still. Priests pray for enemies, but princes kill.
Away, my lord, you are slow. For shame, away!
Can we outrun the heavens? Good Margaret, stay!
What are you made of? You'll nor fight nor fly. Now is it manhood, wisdom, and defense to give the enemy way and to secure us by what we can, which can no more but fly. If you be ta'en, we then should see the bottom of all our fortunes. But if we happily scape, as well we may, if not through your neglect, we shall to London get, where you are loved, and where this breach now in our fortunes made may readily be stopped.
But that my heart's on future mischief set, I would speak blasphemy ere bid you fly, but fly you must. Uncurable discomfit reigns in the hearts of all our present parts. Away for your relief, and we will live to see their day, and them our fortune give. Away, my lord, away!
Warwick's gamble has paid off. With the deaths of Clifford, Somerset, and Buckingham, Lancastrian support is in shambles. The War of the Roses has begun.
Now by my sword, Richard, well hast thou fought today. 'Tis not enough, our foes are this time fled. I know our safety is to follow them. For as I hear the king is fled to London to call a present court of parliament, let us pursue him ere the writs go forth. What says Lady Warwick? Shall we after them?
After them? Nay, before them if we can. Now, by my hand, lords, 'twas a glorious day. St. Albans battle won by famous York shall be eternized in all age to come. Sound drum and trumpets, and to London all, and more such days as these to us befall.
York! 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 York!
You've been listening to Shakespeare's Histories, Season 2, The Queen's Storm, presented by Brave Spirits Theater.
Shakespeare's Histories is directed by Charlene V. Smith.
The recording producer and editor is Patrick Flynn.
With dramaturgy and additional directing by Marshall B. Garrett.
Dramaturgy and additional directing by Claire Kimball.
And dramaturgy by Liam Thomas Daly.
The acting company for Shakespeare's Histories is
Mikey Bannigan,
Zach Brewster-Geisz,
Jordan Brown, Dean Carlson,
Jacqueline Chenault,
Gary DuBreuil,
Brianna Good,
Lisa Hill-Corley,
Thomas Howley,
Caroline Johnson,
Brendan Edward Kennedy,
Annette Mooney,
Victoria Reinsel,
Duane Richards,
Jillian Riti,
Ian Blackwell Rogers,
Nicole Ruth Marie, Charlene V. Smith,
John Stang,
Molly E. Thomas,
and Joshua Williams.
The composer and music director is Jordan Friend.
The dialect coach is Jenna Burke.
The production manager for Shakespeare's Histories is Lisa Hill-Corley.
The stage manager is Jen Katz.
The audio recordings of Shakespeare's Histories were made possible through funding from the Nora Roberts Foundation, the City of Alexandria, the Morgan Fund at the Seattle Foundation, the Virginia Commission for the Arts, and the National Endowment for the Arts.
Learn more about Brave Spirits Theater by visiting our website at www.bravespiritstheater.com.